In crunchy times, in soggy times, there's one force of nature that's always there for you. It's cereal. There's a second that's with you on a more or less bi-weekly basis. And it's the Empty Bowl, a meditative podcast about cereal. My name is Justin McElroy, and I'm a cereal enthusiast.
And I'm Dan Goubert, and given your description of cereal as a force of nature, I would call myself a cereal meteorologist of sorts.
I like that.
I'm trying to predict the way that, the crunchy precipitation will fall into your bowl and what that might mean for your commute tomorrow.
We are going to talk about cereal news. We're going to do some reviews of cereal and cereal-related products. And we're going to take some of your voicemails and maybe some other stuff. You know, never know. We like to keep it loose here. But I would encourage you for the next half hour or so to just kind of calm down, relax, get comfy, get a bowl of cereal if you're so inclined. I'm sure this would pair very well. If you don't have one on hand now, I'm sure you'll be craving one by the end of the episode. But the important thing is to just be in this moment here now with us and just think about cereal. Give yourself permission to just think about cereal. Now, Dan, we've got some, I would say, exciting news and a little bit of sad news, which is a rarity for us here on the Empty Bowl. But I do think it's important to keep up with all of it.
Yeah, so we should probably start with the higher notes.
Sure.
We're going to go with the buoyant flow of upwards and downwards energy.
Crunchy before soggy, that's what I say.
Exactly. And I think looking at the things we're going to talk about today, we're probably talking about the least straightforward new cereal products that we may have ever done in an episode.
Perhaps, yeah.
But I would argue that one of the top headlines of the week is that Smart Food is releasing a new Cap'n Crunch Crunch Berries snack mix, which from the name you would expect there to be a lot of nuance here, a lot of a sort of a diverse cast of characters as you would come to expect in any snack mix. And there were Cap'n Crunch snack mixes before this one, and they were actually pretty unique. They were peanut butter chocolate and chocolate caramel, both of which are really flavors that haven't reached the mainstream Cap'n Crunch cereal boxes. So when I heard that there was a new snack mix in town featuring Cap'n Crunch, I had to look into it. But it turns out this one is only going to be popcorn and crunch berries, which I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but
I'm
like
not sure about it.
If you asked me to list like the two foods that would, unilaterally just mess up my mouth and any sort of, measure of laceration, things getting stuck where they're not supposed to be, surprise dental work, it'd be Cap'n Crunch Crunch Berries, which shred the palate, and popcorn, which I think, goes without saying that there's a lot going on there in terms of shrapnel and risk.
I think the thing that I'm sort of concerned about hearing this is just different crunch velocities that it takes to chew these foods, right? I mean, popcorn is like a little bit of a softer chew, and crunch berries are crunchier. And I feel like crunching them together, there's something about it that doesn't immediately grab me as appetizing.
Whenever I'm reviewing something that's like a mix of textures and mouthfeels, I immediately ask myself, is this a nuts and gum cereal? Because I'm reminded of the Simpsons bit where he eats nuts and gum together at last. And it seems like a lot of cases there's this weird pairing of chewiness and crunchiness that ends up just being ridiculous, like just exhibitions of what food science can do rather than what it should.
Now, this next story, you know what I would describe this next product reveal as is brave. I would say this is a brave product.
It certainly is unexpected. I got tweeted a photo by seriously friend Sammy Hain on Twitter, who found, it's only February, of course, but he found Frankfurt, which is a candy company, partnered with Fruit Loops to produce Fruit Loops flavored white chocolate Easter bunnies, which if you look at them, they look like probably any other, traditional chocolate bunny mold, and they are definitely white chocolate with all kinds of these iridescent rivers scattered therein of, Fruit Loop ribbons and I'm sure crispity crunchy little cereal bits. And yeah, it's brave. It's brave. I think it's going to be good. But
it's brave because what really stands out to me, and maybe this is clearer looking at the imagery, I just am not seeing a lot. There's like the vaguest hint of coloration. I mean, it looks almost like a sort of fruity rash has taken over this white bunny. And they didn't go hard on like the Fruit Loops coloring, which I feel like is a bold choice.
See, I think, well, I'm assuming that based on the looks of it alone, having studied, several chocolate rabbits in my time, I'm familiar with the taxonomy. I would assume that this is not a hollow bunny, but in the case of a cereal Easter candy bunny, I feel like you could get really far by making it hollow and just filling it with Fruit Loops, right? Because then you just lop the ears off and you basically got a milk receptacle.
Yeah, now you're talking. Act fast, though. Eat that fast.
Spring a leak.
This last story, though, is this one's tough.
It just would be a shame if we didn't report it, given what this cereal has meant to this podcast. But I'm sorry to tell everyone out there that Hostess Powdered Donut cereal has been officially discontinued. So we got Twinkie cereal, which basically the moment that I tasted it, I'm like, this tastes a lot like donuts. Knowing that the cereal industry is limiting the amount of products available to make them, more profitable, I didn't think they'd have this overlap going for long. So I'm honestly not surprised that Powdered Donuts, being the older of the two, got bumped out. It's the less iconic Hostess snack cake of the two.
Sure. Yeah. Now, how did you come by this information? Because I tend to think a lot of times you see cereals kind of more fade away than an announcement of a discontinuation.
Well, it's funny. For a couple months now, people have been tweeting at us like, great deal on Hostess Powdered Donuts, only 99 cents at my grocery store. But then you realize that's because, they're on clearance and they're on their way out. So it's more of a bittersweet deal. But someone did directly, contact Post and ask them whether they were still making this cereal. And we got the official eulogy there. But I know it's been a kind of a divisive cereal. A lot of people did not enjoy it as much as us. So maybe that vocal minority had its way, and this was an intentional assassination.
Now, sadly, Kellogg's Donut Shop Pink Donut cereal also met this similar fate at some point. I'm not sure exactly when. If you try to buy it anywhere, you will find yourself to be sadly disappointed. So both of these donut cereals have faded into the ether. What donut cereal is still carrying the torch? Is there even one?
Well, I mean, we're about to review some Timbit cereal.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a donut hole. Sure.
I think the whole round donut thing, it was kind of a fad, round donuts, so in the past. We're moving on back into a purely donut hole economy. As we mentioned on a previous episode, Timbit cereal has hit Canada in both chocolate glazed flavor as well as birthday cake. And as I understand that you have tried both of these?
Yes, I have at this point. I was sent boxes of both by a few different listeners, and I appreciate all of you so much, especially the folks that marked it fragile. That's so sweet of you. I mean, it is, I would say, a misrepresentation, but it is, I mean, I guess it is fragile, just not particularly tragic if it is, crumbled somewhat. So Ilona from Saskatoon, thank you for your passing those along. Timbit cereal. What did you think, Dan?
So I was definitely divided pretty starkly between the two flavors. This might sound like a hot take. I don't know why it would, but I don't think birthday cake belongs in cereal. I don't think it's ever been done quite right. I think it's just too subtle and nebulous of a flavor to define in order to actually dilute it to the point that it works in a cereal. It's just going to end up tasting like sugar, with a bit of vanilla if you're lucky. But I feel in a very competitive cereal market, you can't necessarily get by on sugar and vanilla alone anymore, which is why the birthday cake was certainly the weaker of the two for me. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought the chocolate was pretty good. Texture wise, it's pretty easy to imagine because it's basically, to me, like very much like Kix, like the individual pieces. Gabe over at Cereal Time pointed out that the pieces were very similar to the Cold Stone Birthday Cake Remix cereal, if not exactly the same, which is also a multi-meal / post cereal. So that could be like a rebrand of those.
Yeah, I would certainly agree. There was also Malto-Meal released a birthday cake cereal independently in Canada as well, which is probably just this exact same thing repackaged.
Yeah.
But I've heard. Sorry, continue.
I would say that the flavor is, not that impressive. Another pull from Gabe is he suggested mixing the two because the chocolate flavor is actually very good. The combo of the two, and I think that's what birthday cake is missing, right? I mean, it needs a counterpoint, I think, rather because otherwise it's just a sort of sugar bomb.
Sure. Yeah, I really enjoyed the chocolate glazed as well because I thought it was just going to be like a straight carbon copy of Cocoa Puffs, nothing more than that. But there's this really distinct, I like to think it's the glaze flavor, but it's almost sort of smoky in a sense that really sets it apart. That it's basically like if you're talking shiny Pokemon, it's like American Cocoa Puffs versus these Canadian Timbits. This is sort of like an extra sheen on top that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah.
I did hear from an insider source that this sold extremely well in Canada, though. Apparently, they sold through 3 months' worth of the cereal in just a week, based on the amount of hype that it got. So, regardless of what we think or not, it's certainly a high-trafficked product. Maybe the bulk of that just got sent to your P.O. box. I'm not sure.
Maybe. This next product to talk about, not cereal per se, but definitely in the a genetic cousin. It shares the DNA of cereal.
Yeah, we're going back into sort of cereal co-branding to talk about new Yoplait cereal smoothies, which come in both Trix and Cinnamon Toast Crunch varieties. So immediately when I hear about a Trix smoothie, I think of Trix yogurt, which was just so good.
Really good.
I don't know what it was about that stuff. Apparently it's still available if you're like a lunch lady and you're ordering it by like the crateful.
Right.
But I think for us poor pedestrians, it's very hard to get your hands on Trix yogurt. But this sort of smoothie was a bit different than that because where the Trix yogurt kind of just combined a couple flavors and swirled them together, this is literally just, Trix puree. And I think that texture really works against it before anything else. It's
okay.
So you've got milk, obviously. You've got ice cream. You've got yogurt sort of somewhere in the middle. But this is a weird, uncanny valley of viscosity where it's like extremely hard yogurt almost, like craft fermented yogurt in a sense. And I know you could argue that's like kefir, or I'm sorry, I might have pronounced that wrong, but that's only this. Continue. Yeah.
Is there any of the like yogurt tang to it at all? Is there any of that like notes?
There is. You can taste it on sort of the four note of each. I almost said spoonful, but it's more of like a sort of a chuggable chunkful. But it does taste a lot like just actual Trix melted down, but you get that tang at the start, and then you can tell that they really, really, really over-sweetened it to try and counterbalance that, because this stuff is so, like, borderline fruit syrupy that I can't imagine what context this would be consumed in, because usually breakfast smoothies are marketed towards, like, the hip young professional on the go, and if I saw someone, in the subway, in a suit, slamming back a Trix smoothie and the inevitable grimace they would make afterward, that's just a whole different, echelon of person that I would immediately not make eye contact with.
Yeah, that it doesn't look great to me. I would say it does not look particularly appealing. What about the Cinnamon Toast Crunch version?
See, you'd think that something as simple as cinnamon and sugar would make this better, but I definitely disliked the Cinnamon Toast Crunch one a lot more. I disliked it more, which means I liked it less. But they already definitely tried to oversweeten it to compensate for any sort of yogurty tang. But then when you try to get cinnamon in there as well, it's this sort of muddled triumvirate of flavors that is, again, super, super, super too sweet, too thick, lingers in your mouth a little bit too long, and I'm just going to have to pass on both of these and recommend you do the same.
Just for people that are interested when we're talking about sugar, so a bowl, a serving size, which no one on the planet eats a serving size, of Cinnamon Toast Crunch is 9 grams of sugar. And a one Cinnamon Toast Crunch smoothie is 22 grams of sugar. So, like,
I didn't even know that.
It's a sweet cereal already. So, like, yeah, that's a considerable amount of sugar.
Yeah, I honestly tried it over cereal in order to see what that would be.
You maniac.
And the Cinnamon Toast Crunch one, about just, it's like a kid putting a fork in an outlet. It just shot me back against the wall. It's kind of just way too much.
One more cereal adjacent product.
So this is interesting. This is Cinnamon Toast Crunch Coffee Creamer. And I will admit that I put this on the list, and I hadn't actually gotten the time to try it out before this session, so I have not tried it in coffee yet. But when I realized that, and this was like 10 minutes before recording, I'm like, oh man, I gotta take a mouthful of this coffee creamer if I'm gonna say anything intelligent about it.
And still less sweet than the drink smoothie.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh,
It's the exact same taste palette as the smoothie. It's thinner, but it's about as palatable. And I looked it up, and there's only 5 grams of sugar in that.
Well, there you go.
It's just, I don't know, man. I guess you could pour the yogurt smoothie in your coffee. I don't know what that would do for the texture, but
yeah, that'd be rough.
but yeah, I would say that when I actually get the chance to try this in coffee, it'll probably be enjoyable. But as my half review, I would say still better than the smoothie. Yeah. Don't gargle with it, I'll tell you that.
We asked you, Dan, what did we ask people last week? Remind me, what was our question last week?
We asked people what their secret cereal was, and this is a cereal that you are not going to tell people that you secretly enjoy a lot, maybe because it makes you look like an old person or a boring person, but you really love it. You sort of just, grovel in your kitchen at night and squat in front of the pantry and eat it.
So we've got a couple of responses from y'all, and then a bonus cereal cocktail recipe at the end. So we'll hear those, and then we'll be right back.
Hi, Dan and Justin. I'm Joe from Canada, and on your episode, you want to know what my secret cereal that I would never tell people that I love is. And seeing all the animosity you had towards mini wheats, I actually have quite the proclivity towards the maple flavor of mini wheats they have up here. I've always liked them ever since I was a kid, and probably one of my favorite cereals.
Hi, Dan and Justin. Despite being marketed as a diet cereal, Original Special K is one of my secret favorites. It has the snap, crackle, pop of Rice Krispies, but the added fiber helps them stay crunchier and milk longer. Flavor-wise, the subtle, malty undertones are entirely underrated. Sometimes simplicity is best. Thoughts?
Hi, Justin and Dan. This is Sam from Canada. I've been waiting for the subject of cereal-infused alcohol to become germane, and it finally has. I learned this from a local bartender. You take half a regular-sized box of Fruit Loops, and you soak it in a 26-ounce bottle of white rum for about an hour or two, and then you finally strain it. You'll find that all that fruity goodness has been transferred into the liquor, and it makes a fabulous daiquiri. I do mine on the rocks. This might also work with the Fruity Pebbles for Dan Sour. I think that sounds great, but I haven't tried it. My next experiment is going to be with bourbon and corn pops. Thanks, guys.
I actually, at first, that sounds delicious. I like Special K too. I think that it's really good. It's like a surprisingly satisfying cereal, I would say.
Yeah, the flake texture is definitely unique that when I am actually reviewing a special case cereal, I don't really necessarily have anything to compare it to. It's very airy and almost like the popcorn of cereal in a sense, I would say.
Every once in a while with Special K, though, I'll get a really hard bite. You ever experience that? It's just, I don't know if there's a husk or something that was undeveloped.
I don't know. You lose a molar in the bowl, maybe?
Do you have a secret favorite healthy cereal?
I would say Original Fiber One.
Wow.
It's actually obscene how much fiber is in that stuff if you actually get right down to it. And it's obscene how much of it I used to eat. Literally, just with a normal-sized bowl of cereal, you're getting over 100% of your daily recommended fiber.
Hacha.
And you look at it, and it looks like rabbit food or perhaps or other sort of animal pellet. And it doesn't really taste great, but I don't know. I have this weird thing with bland foods that I actually like quietly enjoy. Like I'll be the guy who's eating cold, unsauced pasta, out of the fridge, like the gremlin that everyone else was earlier.
I have a real soft spot in my heart. I mean, I would say like top 3 is Quaker Oat squares. I just think that, and that is, by no means a healthy cereal. It is nutritionally dense, I would say, but it is marketed as kind of an old person cereal. Wilford Brimley said it would give you long-lasting energy to keep you going all day long. So if you want to reach out to us like this via voicemail, you can go to bowl.rest and you can record a voicemail right there on the site. Dan, do you have any queries for people this week? Anything that's sort of been kicking around in your noodle?
So my favorite voice messages that I think we get are from people describing cereals that I have not and cannot try. So whether you have tried an international cereal abroad or whether you live abroad and have a favorite cereal that is not for sale in America, what is your favorite? So I want to tour the world of cereals if we can.
Let's talk about, this is one of my favorite segments where we get to dig into the ephemera of cereal history. And you've got a few to tell us about this week. Let's start with High Gram.
Yeah, so if you remember our Cereal Myths series, we've covered some really out there alleged and real cereals. And this is definitely one of my favorite segments as well. So I was looking into what some other sort of lost cereals might be, and I stumbled upon a thread on Mr. Breakfast, which, if you are not familiar, is a very great resource for cereal fans and historians because it has cataloged just about every cereal from the past. It's a veritable encyclopedia that I have used as reference content many times for blog posts, but it was a sort of a fan thread that was about listing cereals that were not in the database already and trying to provide credence for those. So I thought this would be a great place to look for, if not outright mythical cereals, ones that are very odd, these deep cuts that have kind of been lost to history. And I think I found some good ones, starting with High Gram, which, when you think about Graham cereals, you think Golden Grams is the original. It's the OG. Right. It's gotta be. In fact, if you type in High Gram cereal in Google, like Google Images, it's just going to think you were saying hi to a box of Golden Graham cereals and show you that instead. But this weird High Gram cereal came out in 1965. There is not a lot about it on the internet, except I did find this one print ad for it, and it is a hot cereal, so it's kind of like a hybrid cereal oatmeal. But This ad is just wild. Let me read how they sell it to you. Their slogan is just a very dubious use of rhyme. The first hot cereal with the graham cracker taste kids love. New High Gram hot cereal from Nabisco. It's lip smacky, graham cracky.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
Right? And then it's interesting because right below that, in an entirely different, much sterner font, it says, "but serious about nutrition," and there's a photo of a mother looking at you right in the eye.
Yeah.
It's just
not too much fun, ad. You've gotten away with this silliness long enough.
Yeah, I'll definitely tweet about this image when this episode comes out because it's a good reference material and a good piece of history for Golden Graham fans who want to know about their ancestry.
You could say the same thing about Mr. Waffles.
Mr. Waffles. So you think about waffle cereals also, and there's a pretty limited sort of constellation of waffle cereals occurring over time. obviously Eggo cereal is the latest iteration, and Waffle Crisp is kind of the star of the genre. But if you go back even further, you see that there was a Waffle O's cereal back in the 80s, and a very, very, less recorded ancestor to even that called Mr. Waffles cereal from 1966. So the year after we got the first Graham cereal, we got the first proper waffle cereal. And this is unique in that it came in both a regular and a banana variety. So while we thought that blueberry Eggo cereal was kind of crazy, Mr. Waffle was busting out the experimental hits way before I was even born. If you look at Mr. Waffles, he appears to be a jovial fellow, buck teeth, black mustache, black bowler cap, checkered shirt, of course.
Sure,
and
waffles.
He was ahead of his time. The box described the cereal apparently as tiny toasted waffles sugared up. That's one word hyphenated, for you. And it was Mr. Waffles, the world's first unsinkable cereal.
This third cereal I've become, like, I can't stop thinking about ever since you put it in the show notes here. Because what is it? I mean, what is it?
So this is Crunchin' Rice Krispies, and it's so weird that I understand High Graham and Mr. Waffles being from, half a century ago, being a bit forgotten. But Crunchin' Rice Krispies came out in 2002, and if you look it up, the only record you're going to find of it is this ad on YouTube about Snap, Crackle, and Pop climbing on top of a billboard to advertise Crunchin' Rice Krispies, which are, by the way, just larger, rounder Rice Krispies that are supposed to make a heartier crunch.
Okay.
So, Snap, Crackle, and Pop are on this billboard, and the voice acting is just insane.
It's wild.
Yeah, obviously we're going to link this as well, but the range of characters they got to play these three elves is insane, and they get told by the cops to get down, and in response, I think it's Pop, or I think he just sort of starts crunching these Crunchin' Rice Krispies really loudly and violently, and without any sort of etiquette or decorum. But that's the only record. Nobody else has really written about it. I think we can understand that this might have been one of the objectively most boring cereals in concept that ever existed.
Yeah, bigger Rice Krispies. Is Rice Krispies XL, basically.
Yeah.
One other thing I'd love to highlight about this Crunchin' Rice Krispies episode is it's got the classic image of, like, selling cereal as part of a complete breakfast, and they put other healthier things in there. Just like, if you get all this stuff together, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
It's got the bowl of cereal and a glass of milk and a pitcher of milk and, like, a sad sort of orange off to the side. Like, you could take it or leave it. It might be decor. That's how far removed it is from the meal. And then on a plate next to it is is a Pop-Tart. It's 2002. We have no excuse. It's like, there's a complete breakfast. You're not done with breakfast yet. Here's a Pop-Tart.
You haven't finished your pitcher of milk yet.
Yeah, the pitcher of milk and your orange and your Pop-Tart. It's a complete breakfast.
Marked all the boxes.
Yeah, we got everything. All the food groups are here. It's just like, this is a sneaky way. I'm like, you're already being sneaky with this tactic, but to throw a Pop-Tart in there to try to sell some more of those is really amazing. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, we have, let's see. We have time for one quick question here. This is from Adolin, who asks, "Hi, Dan and Justin. Back in October, my girlfriend found a super cheap sale on Captain Crunch and bought 8 to 10 boxes of it. 4 months later, we recently moved and still have a little over 3 boxes left. We just can't seem to get through it fast enough. So I was wondering, have you ever loved a cereal so much that you went overboard and bought more than you could reasonably handle?" I have run into this with, like, where I'll buy a cereal and then get sent a cereal by a listener or by a company. I think the one that, not by a company, that's never happened yet, but definitely by listeners. The one that I do have a very clear memory of, so when Super Mario Brothers cereal came out a couple years back, actually right around the time we started this podcast, actually, if memory serves, I couldn't find it on store shelves, so I had to buy it online. And the only offering was a 3-pack on eBay.
Ooh.
And then I found it like 3 days later in a store. So I ordered this 3-pack, and then I bought the box of cereal, and it is genuinely, I mean, I love cereal, and this is, Dan will back me up here, a reprehensible cereal.
It's one of the worst.
It's ghastly. I mean, it barely qualifies as cereal. It's absolutely miserable. And then for the next few days, I just like every day would like look outside the porch to see if my giant box of inedible cereal had been delivered.
Just punted across the lawn at that point.
Yeah.
For me, I would say this goes back. This was originally going to be my gut reaction to the secret cereal answer because I have more than a few of these weird sort of boring cereals that I like. But Fiber One Honey Squares was a cereal that was around 5-ish years ago probably, and it wasn't really anything special. It was sort of like these tiny micro Cinnamon Toast Crunch size squares, but they were, sort of this toasted honey flavored. They were very airy as well. And I could tell, much like the donuts, that these were on their way out because they were being put on clearance. So I ordered like an 8-pack of them, I think, shipped from Walmart. And I get that when you're buying cereals, the expiration date is usually pretty generous. You've usually got more than a few months. But given that this was already a clearance product, I grossly sort of overestimated how much time I would have to eat sort of these bricks of, fiber bricks. And I definitely did not make it in time in that case. And I still hold the cereal fondly in my memory. I think I would do it again, even if I had the chance.
Folks, next time y'all run into this, here's a solution I've used many times. A half stick of butter, 10 ounces of marshmallows, melt them together, mix it with 6 cups of cereal. You got yourself some treats. Those are gonna fly. It's a lot easier to get through, and you share those around. It's perfect. Any cereal, it works with basically any cereal. Every time I've tried it, it has worked.
So you say basically. What do you think would not work?
Well, okay, Crunch Berries actually did not, because of the spherical shape, Crunch Berries didn't do a great job of adhering. The size was just a little bit too big. I think pretty much anything else, though, like as long as it's not strictly spherical, larger size cereals would be tough.
Aren't there a lot of spherical cereals?
No, I mean, the ones where you'd run into trouble, like I think Cookie Crisp would be tough.
Oh, yeah.
What I would suggest is like break half of the cereal up, and then you're going to have like a bonding agent that's going to help the treats stick together a little better. That is my tip. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to our program. We hope you've had a nice time, a relaxing time. Like we said, you can find our show at bowl.rest, and that is also a place where you can donate to the show, make a monthly donation if you would be so inclined. Half of that money goes to keep Serialously.net running, and half of it goes to a local food shelter in Huntington, West Virginia. So it's a good causes all around. And did I say Serialously.net? I did. That is Dan's website where you can find the latest and greatest in cereal news. Sometimes get a little sneak peek of what you'll be hearing on this very program. And it's beautifully written, which is the reason I wanted to work with Dan on this show in the first place, is because I think he is genuinely an amazingly talented writer, and you should go read all of his stuff right this second.
Yeah, we would also, well, thank you for that, but I'd also like to thank Emily Loper for doing our editing now, as well as Chris Zabriskie for providing the opening theme of The Sun is Scheduled to Come Out Tomorrow.
Absolutely, and thank you to you for listening. That is going to do it for us for this episode. So for Dan Goubert, my name is Justin McElroy, and as always, don't forget. I forgot it.
Huh? What?
I forgot it. Don't forget to what? Oh, to drink the milk.
Yeah, drink the milk. Don't forget.
Drink the milk.
Don't forget to drink the milk.
To drink the milk.
Don't forget to drink the milk.
I'm writing it down.
Next time. We'll get it.